Of course, I know that if you laugh at that thing, you have got that.
Don't worry, we have to stretch. Okay. You know what to put this. No, like others are maybe once we put his camera.
They can take
Yeah. That was fine. So just like that's all of these things they are just wasting their time. I don't know. They are just wasting their time. They are just wasting. What's competition of
Yeah, that's good morning. I'm fine. The member. They don't do it. That's the big one.
Yes, now.
Yeah, God bless you. Thank you.
Where is this man?
Thank you. Thank you.
Ṣé máa ṣe fílẹ̀ nìyí? Ẹ fílẹ̀ nìyí.
Yes.
Go back.
Yes.
Oh, this man block behind. I think he has to even come to actually have it.
Let's leave it.
And cannot go ahead.
I want you to pass through.
How do I say? I don't know how to say it. Okay, his head.
Yeah. Let it. That one.
Check. He is taller than I am. Yes. So wait. So yes. Zeki. The
Dúró fake mic on my fake mic.
So we're moving it.
Please wait.
Àbá ṣe wú lọ. Quality there.
Okay, so thank you. Just a second.
Some of these.
I dey come abeg. My mind say where you dey I dey come.
It's like I don't like all right, let me go. Anybody who is not here, that's the problem. What? Good morning, how are you? Yes, yes. What do you want to do now? I'll just leave it there.
Your mic, right?
Yeah. Okay. All right, happy New Year to everybody. And thank you for those who failed to send me greetings. I note everyone who did not send me greetings. I note it. And those who did not send me bag of rice. Thank you very much. I know my friends very well. All right, so thank you for coming. So what do you want me to talk about? There are too many things to talk about. What should we talk about? I want to reverse it this time. Let you guys ask me the questions. So what do we start? You have an idea of what it is we're talking about. You have all the papers, you have read it, I think. So ask me the question. For a change. Yes. Okay.
Yeah, it's about the issue of the
Executive order.
executive order.
Okay, executive.
On all revenue.
Yes.
We want to know your opinion about this.
Is there
I've read
right?
yeah, I've read your article.
Ask a question, no ask
I've read
opinion.
your article. We talk about the gaps in the PIA and gaps in or what are your solutions to this? Or suggestions?
Everything is in my write-up. Ask a question if you want to. You're not asking me a
I have a
question.
question.
Yes.
On this, um, sorry, on the electoral act, you are saying why.
All right, let me give you guys need a background. It's obvious. Let me give you a background so it will help you. We are at a point now where the country is distracted by 2027, which is very unfortunate. Because all of you agree, since you're all Nigerians, that things are not good. Am I right? Yeah. Generally, things are not good. But I'm happy that finally, and I say this with considerable delight, because it's taken, I don't know how long now. The type of work we do is not something people see. You're not building a bridge. What we do is very intellectual, it's very intangible. So what we do is called development law, and people don't understand. Even economists don't understand the link between law and development, law and economics. So the link between law, as you know, law, legislation, constitution, and economics is something that our economic planners don't understand. So for the last maybe 20 something years, we have been advocating. Zebulon will know that we've been talking about how to upgrade our laws, because the key thing we have in Nigeria that drives any economy or development is first of all a leader. So we are hoping that 2027 will have competitive politics, because it's only by competitive politics that you get the best results. But one of the key things we lack is revenue. So on the monetary policy side, I'm prepared to give Cardoso very high marks. He steadied the economy, he lowered the rates, strengthened the naira, and kudos. But what about the fiscal side? The fiscal side is not doing well because we are borrowing. And when we borrow, and we have borrowing, making an income of say 100 naira and paying debts of 90 naira, it leaves 10 naira. So 10 naira for 200 million people is not enough. So we need to strengthen our income. So I was very excited. That's why I'm excited about Executive Order 10. Because we've been shouting for a long time. And we said, is it that people in government don't read Section 44.3? Have you guys read it? Have you guys read Section 44.3?
Of the
Constitution. Nobody. See, now, that's part of the problem. And you are journalists. And it's there in my paper. Section 44.3 makes us owners of our oil and natural resources. And you have plenty. But for some funny reason, our government decides we have the crude oil sovereignty. Oil sovereignty belongs to me. Just like I've come from my house. My house is my sovereignty. You can't come and invade it. Why is it that we have abdicated our oil sovereignty to two actors, NNPC and the IOC? If you read the EO very well, you will find that NNPC was gulping 70% of our crude oil resources. 70%. So when we wrote, and I think you have it on your table. I think you have it on your table. When we wrote that one there, when we wrote something about clawing back our sovereignty, taking ownership of our resources, immediately I saw Executive Order 10, following it word for word, I was absolutely thrilled. It is the most foundational piece of policy ever, because we need money. So that's one thing why it's supported. There are a few problems, but those can be addressed either by the Supreme Court or the National Assembly. Whether the executive order can override legislation. Not constitution, in legislation. PIA is a legislation. So in PIA, you have many parts that give NNPC money. But in that same PIA, NNPC is made a private company. Have you know?
Yes.
It's made a private company. So how can a private company continue to take 70% of our revenue? So kudos to President Tinubu for finally realizing that this was a big error. So it's going to add a lot of money to us. That's the first point. Because I'm suggesting to the president, and I sent him 10 ideas. So this is now the second. The first was tax.
Yeah.
I created the name the National Revenue Service when I was starting with Zach and Delegate. But Zach ran away and left me. He only did one part of the job. He hasn't touched it at all. He has only done tax. And tax is based on section 162 sub 1 of the Constitution. So good kudos to Zach, because we now have 40 trillion, never before. When I was talking about the potential of Nigeria touching 10 trillion 5-6 years ago, I remember on channels that they said, it's not possible. Even my dear cousin Chikobi told me it's not possible. But now we're talking about 50 trillion.
Yeah.
The way we're going to hit 100 trillion. For a country like Nigeria, 500 trillion naira a year is nothing. But you have to harness your resources. When I spoke to the then people in Ministry of Finance about Murphy, so government has two important vehicles for storing its money. One is called Murphy, the other one is called Murphy. So Murphy is Ministry of Finance Incorporated. The other one is Ministry of Petroleum Incorporated. These two very huge and important vehicles were just tucked away into the scheme of things in the ministry. So when the Minister of Finance was saying that they were going to borrow money, Minister of Finance under Buhari were going to borrow money, I asked them to look at the value of the Nigerian Railway Corporation. The Nigerian Railway Corporation probably is the largest landowner in Nigeria. The Nigerian Railway Corporation was last valued in 1975. Do you know what the value was? 20 million. And that value is still on the books today. But the Nigerian Railway Corporation is potentially worth about 500 billion. So you see, failure of government to harness our resources. So I'm beginning to see, and I hope it continues, I'm beginning to see the potential of those 10 ideas that I gave to President Tinubu coming to fruition. That's the essence of the executive order and why I support it. So that's a sort of background. So from there you can kick in.
Will you anticipate, or how can the executive order be given more power?
Two ways.
Because of the PIA issue being an act of the National Assembly.
Two things can happen. I've suggested and written to the Attorney General that he should go to court. And I think it will be a straightforward issue. Just like I suggested to the Deputy Speaker to go to court to free the local governments from the grip of the states. But Tinubu went first. So I suggest that the Attorney General present the matter to court to ask to what extent are those provisions in the PIA that impinge on revenue constitutional in view of section 44.3. That's one way of going. Second way of going is just to make a major amendment of PIA. So let it be clear where we stand with the NNPC. Because the NNPC is there creating policy, interfering with the upstream and downstream commission. But let it be very clear. Let the president make a very clear policy decision that the NNPC is no more than an ordinary oil company, like Seplat, like Mobil. That's what it is. It should have no regulatory or statutory powers of any kind. Let there be a minister of petroleum who sets policy for how we harness our crude oil. The other thing that I see in the executive order that didn't go far enough, but that requires careful handling, is the role of the what do you call it again? The IOCs in relation to sovereignty over our oil. So they play two roles. They play a commercial role, that's fine, but they also have a role over ownership. Now, so here's how it goes. Section 44.3 makes Nigeria owners of the oil. Rather than actually own it, the Nigerian government creates a JV, joint venture. So in that joint venture agreement, if you read it, and I encourage you to read it, you can Google it up. The Nigeria cedes ownership. We transfer ownership of our crude oil resources to the IOCs under the fake pretension that the IOCs will do it in our interest. They don't. They in fact turn around and ask us to pay the so-called cash call. So we pay 60% cash call. And that cash call, they determine it. We don't know, we have no idea about how they come up, they create the cash calls. So what I'm saying is, let the IOCs continue, but let them be limited to work around commercial drilling. That's all. Commercial, just like in Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia controls 100% of their crude oil resources. They don't allow anybody to have a say in ownership issues around crude oil. Here, there are 34 value chains. So it's not so. Our government simply looks at who has a bottle of water there. You find that our government looks at a bottle of water, a barrel of crude. Our own is profit oil, tax oil. They are paid. But the oil companies, the international oil companies, blindside us. We don't see the money that is leaking from shipping. That's why I'm so happy about how Prince Onyema has gone with airpiece. There is no airpiece equivalent in shipping. But the things are our own. The crudes are our own. When it is produced, Nigerians should be told, go and lift it. We don't. So you see how we lose money. So we need to turn it around. So when we say we are poor, because we have no roads, we have no hospitals, we have no schools, we don't have free education, it's because we have no money. So we are borrowing. So the idea behind the EO9, the strategic idea, even though I didn't take part in it, but I can see where it's headed, is to change fiscal policy relationships from borrowing to funding. So there is what's called public sector borrowing requirement, PSBR. So it will change to public sector funding requirements. So the federal government has never drawn up a PSFR. So okay, this year we're going to build 100 schools in every local government. We're going to do A, B, C, D, because we have no money. The entire fiscal policy is based on borrowing. But I'm happy that the minister, what they do now recognizes that we can't go on borrowing, that we must find other means of, getting more. That's the essence of the.
But now, Doc, it amazes me that you say that before now the NNPC was having about 70 to something percent of it. But at that time, it was also a federal government corporation. So what has changed? Now that it's a limited, and there is this EO now to reroll the money to the federal government really account instead of passing. What do you think has changed? And secondly, I was watching the committee, finance committee, appearing before the Senate appropriation committee defending the budget. And what stuck out there was that majority of MDAs were complaining that they lack funding. So what was the problem? Was it that there is no money to allocate to those to those MDAs to carry out the activities, because even the what Zach was suggesting that even the budget we are making was unrealistic. Was unrealistic. That we may need to tone down, because it's not about heavy figures. It's about what is realistic. So what do you think about how we plan our budget and the release of funding for this capital?
It's very easy. See, the problem is stealing. What is seen as an opportunity to pass. So when it's seen as an opportunity to pass, is it really a budget for development? I'm not sure. We need to deconstruct the entire fiscal policy. It goes back to fiscal. So we need to deconstruct the fiscal policy and say, how do we raise money? Because before you spend, you must think about how you raise money. We raise money by looking at the federal government secretariat line in Ikoyi for 40 years and it's empty, which is worth about 500 billion. Sell it and build 2 hospitals in each local government. So you got to have a plan. There's no plan. When you have a plan, that plan drives what you do. Number 2, you've got to tell the MDs that you mentioned, you are not a revenue generating entity. You are a service entity. So take NIMASA. NIMASA, customs, they do 2 things, but they do one better than the other. They are interested in revenue generation. They forget their job that is prescribed under the NIMASA Act. So what I told Zach, and I hope he will do that, is to strip every damn MDA of revenue generating. Everything, just like they've done in this EO9. Let it be extended. Let EO10 say to all federal agencies, penny you won't keep. That's what's causing the problem. You will not keep a dime. The job of customs is to enforce customs laws, not to raise revenue. The job of customs relating to revenue, transfer it to NRS. You take customs and you take immigration, you put them together and you give them a new name called border force. Theirs is to look after us in a new border force entity, not to be raising revenue. So every time you see the controller of customs say, we have exceeded, that's not his job. That's not his job. The money should go to the federation account. Now, when you strip these MDAs of making money, they will focus on their job, because they now know that ZAC and NRS are the ones that will sweep everything in. Now, when all these things are swept in, it goes to one place only. What I'm saying is not rocket science. But nobody wants to do it. It's not rocket science. You put the money there, you will find that we will surpass the 500 trillion that I have personally set as a target. When that happens, then what Zach said, that the project cannot be funded, will become untrue because of the money. Then when you now bring your MDA budget, you will not be padding it because you have no dime. They will be asking you, how do you intend to defend Nigeria's maritime waters? How do you intend to prevent smuggling? How do you intend to do your work properly? That's not the issue now. The issue is about money. So we've got to change the narrative. We've got to make the agenda of government to perform for the people. And then we have to make collection of revenue somebody's responsibility. I don't know that the Minister of Finance can really account for 90% of the revenue of Nigeria because it's all scattered. That's it. So the money will be available. And once available, you will find that we can pay school fees, you will find that we can give Medicare free, you will find we can build roads, and the other basic things that you see happening around the world.
Yes, actually, part of your recommendation, I think, the NNPC should be sold or privatized.
Yes, yes.
I mean, how would that impact Nigeria's sovereign right to what is these resources? And we have also find that legally or ethically, is full sovereignty transferable?
It's full sovereignty. What do you mean?
And the fact that you are now privatizing Nigeria itself, Nigerian government doesn't have, full sovereignty towards its own resources, regardless of what comes in.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That the NNPC ought a long time ago to have been a simple private company. But the truth is the NNPC became the private funding arm of Nigerian presidents. So if the president wanted money, he would call the GMD of NNPC. And to the point where a certain president, I won't call him, was approached by a certain South African company, a South African president, to fund their sugar refinery. And they turned to the NNPC to do it. So NNPC is the easy source. That's why it has lasted so long. So it's a very good thing. It's a full credit to Tinubu. That's a very strong decision. If you know the cabal inside NNPC, that decision is the strongest decision ever taken by a Nigerian president. Yeah. So NNPC is now going to be, it's not going to be a place that people want to go. You know, once you were GMD of NNPC, I know one particular GMD of NNPC who did not know that his driver was watching him as he was packing dollars inside one bungalow. Whenever he goes home at weekend, he will pack it. He couldn't even give the driver, say, okay, you hold this $10,000. So I was packing everything. The driver reported him and they put him in jail. Where the money has gone to today, I don't know. So NNPC being strict. I spoke before, I don't know what parliament that was, but this guy was the speaker. Tambowa was the speaker at that time. I said NNPC should be scrapped because that thing is an evil force. Draining on, it's like that mosquito, draining all our money. 70, think of it, 70% of your revenue was being swallowed by one agency and giving us nothing but high fuel scarcity, all of that. Yeah. Then doing deals with, and look at what Dangote is suffering. That will tell you the power of NNPC. How can somebody say, I have a refinery here, I can feed the entire Nigeria? They don't know to have capacity. You want to regulate and give licenses for importation. Those importers are part of the cabal. Those men can put down 1 trillion. They can put down one. They can say, President Tinubu, this is your election. Just hold these 2 trillion, but allow Dangote to die. That's what it is. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Do you know don't you see Dangote at age? Yes. Can't you see it? Yes. You think it's a joke? He's my very good friend. We chat. The guy is the man who should win Nigeria's, what do you call it, man of the year for the next 10 years. Yeah. That refinery. I know that the impact of what he's done is not being felt, but it's coming. The other day, I wanted to buy my daughter abroad. I wanted to buy some sterling. So when they told me, it is 1,900 to 1, I was shocked. It's been like 2005. So the demand for Forex is down. But it was the cabal that fought it. But the wisdom of God descended on Tinubu. And put it in your write-up. The wisdom of God descended upon Tinubu, and he did the correcting. You will find, and that's why I'm hoping that the 2027 elections will be competitive. Because, personally, I couldn't care less who is Nigeria's president.
If you say the kingdom of the wisdom of God, you will be campaigning.
Why?
That's campaign.
They're not campaigning.
So we'll just write something.
All right, that's what you like.
We'll not go that.
Okay. But the point is that we need money. We are bleeding. And if this is the beginning of how to expand our resources, it makes me very happy. Because some of the things I've been saying here, so I've been saying it for I don't know how long. Sounding like a broken record. Another one, see all of you sitting around there, I'm not sure how many are in their own private homes. Anybody who is in his own, anybody who is not a rent payer.
In Lagos, yeah.
Okay, you have something. Okay, I'm talking about Lagos. Anybody? So do I assume you all pay rent?
Some people are landlords, yeah, they are not, we know them.
So you all pay rent? Now, if you are able to pay rent, then you can pay a mortgage. Part of what made Margaret Thatcher popular was Labour was saying, we will give you social housing at reduced rent. The Conservatives said, no, 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 I will give you the house. That's how Thatcher became popular. So that rent you are paying, that social you are paying, convert it to a mortgage. But the reason that is possible is there's a legal framework. So the tax system possible is the modernization of the tax laws that were essentially 1930s laws. It was modernized. What has made this new revenue tool possible is again law. People don't understand the power of law in relation to the economy. So now, we have not addressed the mortgage system. Nigeria has millions and millions and millions of housing, but there's a problem. Most of the, in fact, 95% of the housing have no papers. So you cannot take a loan. You cannot be part of the capital formation of a system where lawyers, doctors, everybody is like in the UK, the property market is awash with billions. When my daughter was in school, it became a bit difficult for what we call getting on the ladder because it was becoming a bit expensive. The government put in $20 billion, 20 billion pounds into the system to make it possible. So we have written a proposal, which I hope the president will use to create a mortgage market. Now, when you create a mortgage market, you are looking at 1.4 quadrillion. I know you are used to billion, you are used to million, you are used to billion, you are used to trillion, but you're not used to quadrillion. The Nigerian property market is a quadrillion property market, 1.4 quadrillion. But it's dead. It's not playing a role in capital formation. So these are the ways in which we have the potential to be a great nation. How can countries like South Korea, Brazil, but tiny countries, even UAE, be bigger than us? That should not be the position.
Yes, sir. Why is it that people are afraid to take papers for their houses? Like,
No, it's not afraid. It's the law. It's the way the law is. It's not afraid. Who's afraid? The law has to be created. When the law is created, then you can go to your bank and say, I work in so and so. This is how much I earn. I'm interested in getting a house. Then the bank will give you the conditions. But no bank will give, even me, I have not gotten a mortgage, but I have gotten mortgages in the UK. Simply because they will tell you, all right, this loan you want of 300 million, how do you intend to pay? That's the question the bank will ask me. I said, I have a property at number 34 Creepers. Okay, where are your papers? I said, I don't have it. So why don't you have it? Say, allow, sir. It takes 15 years to get the paper. And do you know, in our experience, in our dispute resolution team, we found that some of the COOs are forged, are fake. So a lot of work needs to be done. That is another area that the government needs to work on. If it does that, I'll be looking at having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 30 of you. You become landlords. You will not pay rent because you will just pay mortgage. See? So we're hoping that the president of Nigeria in 2027 will be an absolutely foresighted person. And if that happens, you will say, why have we been suffering like this? Because of leadership. That's the only reason. Don't you want a house? But then you have to lobby for the law to change. Not only me. Other questions or what I do? Yes.
Okay, sir. Please let's not talk about politics.
Yeah, go on.
Weekend there was this local council election in Abuja.
Yes.
And coming out with some social media talking about some manipulations that sequel that election. I want to ask your view about that election. Secondly, weekend too, there was what we see as an assassination attempt.
Assassination.
In Edo State. How do you see the politics, activity of politicians and looking at
Yeah,
2027.
the problem with their politicians, all of them, the problem with politicians is that they don't play the game correctly. There are no issues. To be quite honest with you, I put a lot of blame on the opposition. The opposition claimed that people are decamping. But it's like me saying, why is my wife dating another man? Who do I hold responsible? It's my wife. So if governors are leaving the PDP and going to the APC, who is to be blamed? It's the PDP. Why are they not doing? All I see the PDP do, or the typical Nigerian politics, is that they visit people who die or weddings. There are no issues. There's a lot of issues to talk about to win over Nigerians. Like this issue of, don't you want? Margaret Thatcher did it in 1970 something. She told the British people, don't you want to be a house owner? Do you prefer to be a house owner or a rent payer? That's what made her win. Why don't we hear it in Nigerian politics? Why? The quality of Nigerian politics is so low. It's about vandalism, fighting, right taking, all sorts of things. No issues. In spite of all the challenges, they're not hitting the big issues. They're not. That's the problem. So our politics needs to improve. We need to have people like me now. All this thing I'm saying, it should be said by politicians. I'm just like, what? What do I call myself here? I don't know. I don't know what to call myself. What?
You're a concerned Nigerian.
I'm a concerned Nigerian.
Yeah.
No, I'm afraid that word. I'm a concerned Nigerian. But it is more. I could have been the director of policy planning in party A, B, C. You see? Then I'll be telling the government, this is what you're not doing. Then I go to the people and say, do you see them doing anything? All right, let us wait for 2027. So I tell the people, you see what I'm going to do for you? Let me hear what that guy will do. But they're not saying it. That's the problem.
So with this, are you trying to say?
No, I'm not.
Even the issue of real-time upload of results may not even be the solution at all.
It's not the solution. The solution is the quality of politicians. It's like, when you have bad players, they quarrel with the referee. You lose 3-0 and you be quarreling. Score first now. Score goals. You're not playing. That's the problem. So you look for everything Nigerian politics is negative. I've never heard any serious policy discussion from any politician. Not one. Going and engaging the people like Obama did. House to house campaigns. Telling them this is what I can do. That's politics. That's not happening. You're going to ask. Who was going to ask? Was it you?
More questions. Yeah, he asked, you didn't answer some
What did he say?
legs of that
Some of the things I asked
assassination or whatever attack.
I've answered it now. It's part of the magomago of our politics. It's part of the lack of ideology. So people now see rigging, vote buying, stealing, stuffing ballots, abusing INEC as the issue.
Now, the issue of insecurity is still not going away.
Yes.
Yesterday or thereabout, some people were rescued in Niger, and it was alleged that the government paid about 2 billion. It's not confirmed yet. The U.S. Congress has submitted their report to President Trump,
Yeah.
listing a lot of things, requests, and all that. So, how concerned are you about the lingering issue of insecurity and how it has assumed the global attention now?
But the first thing to ask would be, what is our security policy? That's the starting point. Incidentally, when I was at the NIIA in 1980, I was specialized in intelligence policy. So we have a number of elements that will make up a perfect architectural framework for security. So why is it? Okay, what special thing are these US forces going to do that they are now on ground? Because they're not fighting forces. They are mostly specialist forces who have high intelligence. They have human intelligence, humans. They have communications intelligence, commons. They have photographic intelligence. They have satins. They bring all these things. You know, there was something that people said that struck me. He said he's surprised about this Zambisa. I said, because whenever I'm landing into Yola, I see it. That's from the aircraft.
Yeah.
So why is it that why is it that this thing suddenly sounds abstract? It's there on the ground. It's there. Just go put a couple of drones. You will see everybody. Americans use it to great effect, even though I don't agree. They put a drone, they see the car, they pinpoint it, they put the coordinates and bomb the hell out of the car. So what's the big deal? So these ragged terrorists and bandits, they are the easiest if we are serious. So that's why I asked the question, do we really have a security challenge? Or is it the fact that our security architecture is not in place? That's the question. It's the same question about money. We have money, but we don't know how to gather it. So is it that we can't find these ragtag people? I remember that there was an American stranded somewhere in, I think, Zambia. American forces landed and took him out. Niger State. How did they do it? How? And this problem is not only isolated to Nigeria, it's also even in Mexico. And that lesson in Mexico, where they killed the drug warlord, should be ringing in our ears. You have a man who had so terrorized Mexico, who had dominated, and that's why the thing is going on. But what did America do? They just came with footprints. Their footprint, they just showed the Mexican soldiers. So look at where he is. They went there and killed him. Oh no. So we have to ask, what is the basic element of our security architecture? I'm not sure it's modern. If it were modern, these ragtag people who just carry AK-47s would not be a problem. Yesterday I was watching on TV. I could not believe that Nigerians are in the condition they are in those IDPs. I don't know whether you guys saw it. Terry, a so-called powerful nation. We are harboring about 8 million refugees, homeless, including somebody who had risen to the position of director of protocol in NTA. I was shocked. And we can't deal with it. So I think the thing to say about all these challenges is really we need to make 2027 a year of dramatic change, where our politicians will not be grumbling. They are waiting to go to court to file petition. Campaign. That's the issue. Campaign. Connect your issues to Nigerians. Nigerians are waiting. Nigerians are waiting. It's like someone who has been in hospital for 3-4 years, sick of something, and they tell you, there's somebody who can cure you. You're very happy. Nigerians are absolutely waiting for a miraculous doctor. This is the easiest country to take, if you know what to do. It's the easiest country, but you have to be organized. It's not about going to weddings. That's what our politicians are masters of. You see them at weddings, they gather, they laugh, and burials. They are not planning. They are not planning. Even if they made me director of policy planning of any party for 2 billion, I won't accept. It's tempting as it is.
No, you cannot. You will take it.
I won't take it. I will not take it. Because
it's consultation.
No, I won't take it. I won't touch it. It is better for me to be as I am. If I was a politician, you wouldn't be here. So I prefer to be.
You will attend political events.
Okay, that would be different. But for me, I'm not a politician. Yes, please.
If you were to read the comprehensive electoral reform committee today,
Yes.
what 3 radical changes will you propose or will you prioritize, especially if it's politically unpopular?
You should read Buhari 3. You know, Buhari ran 4 times. The third one, the Supreme Court judge, I keep forgetting his name. It's late now. He said, the way I see the Electoral Act, I don't see that a petitioner can actually win anything. Because you're actually required to produce primary evidence across 170,000 polling units. Each polling unit is presided by a presiding officer. So for me, in the court to hear evidence that the election was rigged, I need to hear that polling presiding officer. 170,000. Where do you get them? So that's unfair. What should happen is what we did in the Waste Commission. Bless the soul of the late Yaradua, who recognized that his elections were flawed, and he set up a panel, the Waste Commission, and I was on it. Go and read it and implement it. We said the man who should be held liable for the proper or improper conduct of an election is the referee. If you allege misconduct, am I going to prove the misconduct? It is the referee who will say, look, this is what they said about you. So INEC ought not to be an active. You know, INEC defends election petitions more than the respondent. You see? So when you tell INEC, what's your name? Huh? Gomez is alleging this against you. What do you have to say? That's all. They're the ones to prove it. Not me who ran for governor of Anambra. I lose. Then I sue him, who is the sitting governor, Collins. Then INEC will be for with him. That's the problem.
Yeah.
INEC will shut its mouth and will be told, defend your election results. You are the referee. That will change the picture. But right now, what happens is that the respondent hides under INEC, and INEC becomes the active defender. So we said, no, that must change. Why? Once the petitioner alleges something that looks like a serious, not every frivolous complaint, somebody will have only 2 votes and say, I should have won. I'm talking about people who you see made a good attempt. You can see P2B versus Tinubu is a strong petition. But there will be no honors on P2B. It will be INEC. P2B took part in the elections. This is what he's saying. Now prove that you follow the rules. That's what the court will say. That's what happens in Kenya. Then you begin to see a better process. But until you do that, that's what, because you ask me, what will I do? What I will do is to implement the waste report. Then I will also implement the EOC, the Electoral Offences Commission, so that those who misbehave, they are going to jail. But since we recommended the Electoral Offences Commission in 2006, I think, nothing. Because the beneficiaries of the Wahala are the men in the National Assembly. Why would I want, if I'm going to count money somewhere, why should I want you to come? Why would I want you to join me? I don't want you to come. The fewer we are, it's okay. I need this man. I don't need you. So we're fewer. So they've hijacked. So look, everything I'm saying, you can switch it around. The same way I'm saying NNPC, cabal. You can't break a cabal. You can't break this electoral cabal except the president puts his foot down and says, we're going to break it. And the way that Yaradua said, I'm breaking the cabal. But unfortunately, the man died. If Yaradua had not died, and we had implemented, we had passed, I believe, I think 4 major constitutional amendments. The only one that saw the light of day was to make INEC on the first line in terms of their money, which is not working. Because INEC still goes to the president. They submit an ordinary budget. So that's the answer. If you have a process that is free and fair, you will then find people willing to come. But how can anybody like me enter the thing? Impossible. I'm not there to finish myself because I know I will lose. I won't have the money because money is what will count. But we look at the UK. Look at what has happened to Mandos, if you follow the story in Peter Mandos, or a woman who was minister of whatever she was in the UK. The only reason she was asked to resign was that she was a distant cousin of the Prime Minister of what country was that? Bengal. That was the only reason. She's English. She's not connected with her at all. So we need to have a very powerful and neutral electoral process so that we can raise the game. That's how you get good people. But right now, people just think, if I want to make money, all I do, if I want to run for the House of Reps, on not federal constituency. I'm gonna organize. I visit my OB. Who are the boys? We get the boys. Okay, share money. On the day of the thing, they do the thing, drive the other side away, and I win.
But Dr. Sir, please can you speak directly to your documents on electronic transmission being enshrined in the Electoral Act? So in the current format of the Electoral Act now, does it answer the aspirations of Nigeria?
It doesn't now, doesn't. You know that it doesn't.
As per the electronic
It does,
transmission?
you know, there are two different. Let's be clear. E-voting is different from electronic transmission.
Yes, sir.
E-voting was introduced in the Nigerian Bar Association. I can tell you the power of e-voting in NBA. It immediately made us, the Council of Past Presidents, redundant. Before, all these people campaigning, they will be bringing whiskey and everything to us. Now, nobody comes because you can sit anywhere you like and vote. I voted from Malta, I voted from London because it is open and transparent. That is where we should be reaching. We haven't even started. So let's just talk about transmission. Let's start with that small one. Now, do you understand the voting process at all? So I go to my ward. I find, first of all, my name may not even be there. That's number one, because somebody has rigged the damn thing. But let me say my name is there. Then I put that in. What do you call it again? It doesn't work. Then I say, wait. If I wait and nothing happens. But let me say I vote. Then the presiding officer, at the end of it, this one, they read it. Not so? That's not the problem. The problem is, the man now says, I have collected all the EC from 8. I'm going to the World Collection Center. Are we going to follow him? No. So in between, he changes the damn result. He changes it. And when he gets there, he says, Olisa Agbakoba, 10,000. But meanwhile, I got 100,000. Collins, 200,000. They record it. For me to now prove that I defeated him, I have to go and get that paper, the original. When I bring cities, they say, oh, not admissible. That's the problem. But if you transmit, it goes up. Everybody sees it. That was why Professor Musu's thing was possible. Because it was manual transmission. Hello, okay, what was the score? They climb the board, they write it. Remember? Forgotten. Yeah. That was manual transmission. They were writing it. So by the time Babangida people, this man is winning, they cancelled it. But we're already seeing the result. So transmission simply means seeing the result. That's all it means. Right now, they hide it inside Calabash. They hide it, you don't know. So by the time they reach the collation, they change it. Then by the time they go from ward, when they go from ward to now local government to state, by that time, it has changed. That's the problem. So that is what I wasn't. So you say, you, TBC girl, you were surprised that the thing played out the way. Don't forget the House passed it over. Then when it came to the Senate, there was a problem. They didn't know what to do. Eventually, they didn't pass it. So we're waiting to see what the president will do. But what it is that the old manual way will prevail. That will make our election results susceptible to what either INEC says. And I don't think that's good enough.
So how do we guard against cyber manipulations? How do we guard against cyber manipulations in all of this electronic transition?
There's no electronic transition. So when you talk about cyber, so there's no electronic transmission. It's not in the law. It's not in the law. And the Supreme Court has not held because, in fairness to INEC, they actually made a guideline. They passed a guideline, but the Supreme Court held that those election transmission guidelines are not in the Electoral Act, and therefore they can't use it, which was a big error because that was a way to get around the problem. So what it is today is that we don't have a perfect Electoral Act. So Magomago will continue.
So what changed in this new one now? Is there any so what is
There are a couple of changes.
that could strengthen the electoral process?
They've strengthened.
They have a fund now.
They have what?
The lawmakers approved a fund for INEC.
That's not it.
Is that the?
To ensure presidential autonomy.
It's been there.
That's it, that's it.
It's in the Constitution. So that's nothing. It's in the Constitution. We drafted that constitutional amendment. So it's not new. What I want to see is how do we count our votes? So that if you vote, does it count? That is the issue. That's the issue. All right?
So what do you propose now? What's the way forward?
Were you not here? Any other questions? No, like go away. All done?
Yes.
Thank you. Yes. Okay. Sit down, please.
Sit down, don't go sit down.
Yes.
So they are doing some.
Oh, okay. We're just taking photos.
Yes. Let's also take. Let's join them.
Okay, join them.
Very handsome.
Fine.
And the money is coming.
Is it coming? How do you know? All right. Well done.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much. As usual. Grateful for all your support.
Thank you.
Without you guys, this won't come out. Thanks, I appreciate it.